أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum everyone. Well done, Jazakallah for arriving early. Girls, I hope your heads are covered with a headscarf, and boys, I hope your heads are covered with a topi. Can I ensure everyone is in wudu? Can I ensure that you have the correct ID and that your videos are off? Right. So, for today's class, you need to have your parents with you. So if they are around, please call them. There's going to be a series of announcements. Now, we've been doing the announcements the past week, and we will continue. So, again, these notifications are just covering my tab, so I'm trying to get to the contents. In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at miniature noon and the alif that comes after it. So what sign, alif, fatha, kasra or dhamma, what sign do we put on the alif? We'll be looking at that. And then the second part of our class will be Quran reading, and we'll be looking at the surahs of Surah Kafirun and Surah Kawthar. Now, bear with me a second. Okay. First of all, we will go to the prayer to begin our class, after which we'll do some announcements. So, Assalamu alaikum, co-host.
Assalamu alaikum.
So, could we have the first participant?
Yes, A5310.
Okay, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, could you start with the Awwaz Tasmiyah and then read this highlighted prayer here with its translation?
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi alimni ma huwa khairun indak.
Okay, and the translation?
Oh my Lord, teach me what is best for me in your knowledge.
Okay, Jazakallah, that was very good. Now we're going to look onto some announcements. So as you've been hearing for the past few days, we are going to be having a tilawat competition. Now, as you may be aware, next Friday, so not tomorrow, but the following Friday, will be concluding our final session. And in that session, we will have a guest speaker. And there will be someone chosen to recite tilawat. And the tilawat you can record will be from Surah Fatiha, which is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, which you say in your namaz, or Surah Kawthar, Inna A'tainaka al-Kawthar. So you need to send a recording, and the email address you send it to is here, info@nqc.org.uk. In the subject box, you would write G1 Tilawat submission. Remember to include your own name and your G1 ID. And the deadline for this Tilawat competition is tomorrow, Friday the 6th of December, and that's at 9 p.m. Okay, so it's not compulsory. You don't have to do this. This is if you wish to. And so many of you, as us teachers have heard, have got beautiful tilawat voices. So we know you're more than capable, and it would be very nice for us to hear that tilawat. Now, the second announcement is, as well as tilawat competition, we have a nazm competition. And just as we had two choices of tilawat, you have two choices of nazm. The first one is Fazail Quran Majid, also known as Jamal o Husn Quran. It's a very popular nazm. And you would need to recite 4 to 5 verses of that. And you go up to Hamara Chand Quran hai. Or you can choose to recite Quran Sabse Acha. And a lot of children know that, and that's quite popular with them. Similarly, you would just recite 4 to 5 verses. You would send it to the same email address, info@nqc.org.uk. And this time in the subject box, G1 Nazm submission is what you'd need to write. You'd need to include your own name and your G1 ID. And again, the deadline for that is Friday, the 6th of December, tomorrow at 9 p.m. So if you have sent it already, well done. And if you're thinking of it, definitely go for it. MashaAllah, you have excellent voices. You're all very talented. So please do have a go. It would be lovely to hear you in the final session. Okay, so that's the announcements. and we've done the prayer from the start. Bear with me a second. Okay, so now we're going to go straight into our lesson. The lesson is entitled Miniature Noon. Just so you can see, it's this here. So I'm going to explain it. It's the writing here, as opposed to just reading the writing. Just listen to what I say, because the writing is a little bit difficult. Okay, so miniature noon is referring to this noon here in red. You can see it here, here, and here. And what this noon does, it acts as a link or a connector between two words. So whenever you see a miniature noon, or it's called noon kutni, that's how it's written, noon kutni, you will notice that there are always two words. This is one word, and this is the other word. And in this example, there's a noon kutni again. That's one word, and that's another word. And in the third example, you see the same thing. So it's a connector between two words. Now, if you think of the English word don't, you spell it D-O-N, an apostrophe, and a T. So this noon kutni is a little bit like the apostrophe. It connects the two words. Now, if I were to read this all together, I would read khayru nitma'anna. Okay, now if I read this one, fitnatu ninqalaba. And I'll read the last one, sawa'a nil'akifu. That's all well and good if I'm reading all together, but what happens if I want to split the two words and read them separately? I would read khayr, and I won't read the ru, I would just read khayr because I want to stop. And what happens is this noon disappears in the second word. So if this noon disappears, the question arises, what stroke do I put on this blank alif here? And that's what we're going to look at. In this case, I know it's itma'anna, but we have to look at why it's itma'anna. And we'll go below and do that. But let me just read them separately. Again, I want to separate these two words. So I would read fitnah. This turns into a ha. Fitnah. This is covered because I don't read it anymore because I'm separating the words. And I know from experience, from practice even, that the next word would be inqalaba. Okay? And the last one, again, I'm going to read it separately. So I'm going to cover the noon because the noon disappears when I read separately. Sawa al-akif. Okay, so that's how they sound separate. Let's go on to the first example. I will explain first, and then I'll call some of you to the mic to read in continuation and to read with a pause. But let me just explain first so you understand. So this one, I've read khair and cover the noon, itma'anna. And let's explain why. Why have I put a kasra on this blank alif? You'll see here. Okay. According to the table, I think it's best we start off with this example. Okay. Sawa is separate. Cover the noon kutni or miniature noon, and I'm going to read this as al-akif. Okay, and the reason why is in this table below. If after blank alif you have a lam, the blank alif will always have a fatha sign. So even though there's no a or fatha sign on this, because there's a lam which is highlighted in red, because there's a lam after the blank alif, I'm always going to put a fatha or a sound on here. So this would be Ar-Rahman. And the same here. I have a blank alif. Which sign do I put in it? Oh, I will look ahead and I'll see a lam. So I know that a fatha has to go here. Okay? Just to practice more, co-host, could I have a student on the mic, please?
Yes, I'm now going to put on N6 3010. No, 305, sorry.
Okay, Jazakallah. N6305, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Walaikum salam. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Right, if you start with the awwad and tasmiyah, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Jazakallah. Now, you will be able to help me if you tell me if you're understanding what I'm saying, because it's quite a difficult thing to explain. But if you can tell me if I'm explaining it well. Were you listening to what I said before when I was just explaining this bit up here about the
Yes.
miniature noon? Yeah?
Yes.
And I was reading it in continuation, so as one word, and then I split it into two words, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see if you can tell me about this blank alif here. What sign will go on this blank alif if it's followed by a lam?
Fatah.
Very good. And can you read this? Did you say ta'awudh and tasmiyah? Yes, you did. So could you read this for me, please?
Ar-Rahmanu.
Very good. Okay, let's go to this one. What goes here?
A fatah.
Yes. And can you tell me why?
Because the because
Because you look after it and tell me about the letter after the blank alif.
because the lamb has no stroke on it.
Nearly, you're close. It's because there's a lam afterwards. So if there is ever a lam after an alif, the blank alif will always have a fatha, like you rightly said. So if you could read this for me.
Assalamu.
Good. And if you could read this for me as well, please.
Al-Maliku.
Very good. Okay, stay with me, mashallah, because I think you're very confident and competent, and I think you can do the rest with me as well. Now, it's going to get a little bit more tricky. Again, over here, we have a blank alif. Now, the question in all these examples is, what do we put on the blank alif? Now, you've correctly told me if the blank alif is followed by a lam, we always have a fatha on the blank alif. So that's right. But if the blank alif is not followed by a lam, what do? Well, I'll tell you. We look at the first letter with a stroke. So here's the blank alif. The first letter after that is ayn, and it doesn't have a stroke. What does it have on top? What's this symbol?
Sukoon.
Very good. So we don't count sukoon because it doesn't make a noise. It doesn't make a sound, does it? It's silent. So we don't look at that. So we're going to go to the next letter. And what's the next letter?
Lam.
Yes, good. And what stroke does the lam have on it?
Fatah.
Good. Now the rule is we go to the first stroke, which you rightly said is a fatha. And if the first letter with a stroke has a fatha, it means the blank alif will always have a kasra. Okay? So I'll explain it again. We look at the first letter with a stroke, which is a fatha. We don't count the sukoon. We go to the next one, it's a fatha. And if the first letter is a fatha, then the blank alif will get a kasra. So could you read this for me, please, with a kasra?
Lamu.
Beautiful, mashallah. Very good. We're going to do the same rule again. Can we go to the first letter with a stroke after alif and you tell me what that is?
Ta with fatah.
Good. So what stroke will go on the blank alif?
Kasra.
Very good. Can you recite again?
Ittaku.
Jazakallah. Beautiful. And what about here? Talk me through it. Here's a blank alif, and I want to go to the first letter with a stroke, or mutaharrik letter. First letter with a stroke. So talk me through it. Does this have a stroke?
No.
Okay. What about this one?
It has a kasra on it.
Okay. So now we've learned something. We're going to learn something else. If the first letter with a stroke after the blank alif has a fatha like this one, or a kasra, then it's going to be a kasra. So that's nice and easy, right? So if the first letter has a fatha, then it's going to be a kasra here. And if the first letter with a stroke has a kasra, it's still going to be a kasra here. So whether it's fatha or kasra on the letter with a stroke, it will be a kasra on the alif. So could you read this example, please?
ارجعي
Beautiful. And talk me through this one.
اهبطوا.
Good. And can you explain? You recited perfectly, but can you explain it?
The first letter has a sukoon on it, so we leave it alone. And then the second letter has a kasra in it, and so the alif is going to have a kasra on it.
I think you explained better than me, mashallah. That was really good. So now I'm going to take you to the third example. So now we know that if we have a blank alif, we look at the first letter with a stroke or the first mutaharrik letter. And if that first mutaharrik letter has a fatha or a kasra, then we go back to the blank alif and we put a kasra on it. But now what happens in this example, if the first mutaharrik letter has a dhamma on it, like this one, then we're going to put a dhamma on the blank alif. So let's go through. We have a blank alif here. Tell me about this letter here. What's that? What sign is this on the qaf?
Sukoon?
Are we going to count that?
No.
No. So what about this? What's that letter?
It has a dhamma.
Yeah. And what does that mean we put on the blank alif?
Yes.
What do we put on the blank alif then?
Dhamma.
Very good. So can you recite?
Uktulu.
Good. Tell me about this one. What do you think?
So the second letter has a sakin, so we leave it alone, and then the third letter has a dhamma on it, so we put the dhamma on the alif.
Okay, have a go.
Utlu.
Good. I'm going to do two more with you. What's this one?
Us.
Yes.
Usjudu.
Very good. And this one?
Uskuru.
Very good, mashallah. You did so well in explaining, and I put you on the spot by making you answer, and you did beautifully. I'm very pleased with you. Jazakallah for your participation, and we'll call you again soon. Allah Hafiz. Good Hafiz. Okay, so co-host, could I have, we're not going to do this lesson too long. We're going to have one more participant, please.
Yes, I'm going to now put on A5355.
Okay,
After that, some students have a few questions, so after him, we'll answer those questions.
Okay, sure.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Could you please recite the awwal and tasmiyah?
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay. Are you able to tell me, have you been understanding what I've been trying to explain?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, can you read this example for me as it is in continuation without stopping? Very good. Now, are you able to read it, split it into two, and read it with a pause?
Yes.
Okay, have a go.
Khair. Itma'anna.
That was brilliant, mashallah. Well done. Can you tell me why you put a kasra on the blank alif?
Because the toy, it has a sukoon, so we ignore it, but the meme, it has a fatha, so we put a kasra on the
Very well explained. You are right. Okay, let's have a go at the second example. Can you read it in continuation, please?
fitnatu nin qalaba.
Okay, very good. And now in two separate words.
Fitnat.
Nearly is nah, fitnah.
Fitnah.
Yeah.
In qalaba.
Very good, mashallah. You are right. Now, can you explain what you did and why you did that?
The qaf, the noon has a sukoon, and the qaf has a fatha. So you so if any letter has a fatha or kasra, you make blank alif into kasra.
Very good. Now let's do the final example in continuation, please.
Sawa. سواء 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 العاكف
Good. And now separately.
سواء عاكف.
This is a tricky one, I have to say. So you weren't correct this time, but it was a tricky one. Do you remember the first table here? And it was telling you that if after blank alif you have a lam with a sukoon or a blank lam, then on the blank alif you'll always have a fatha. So you try again with putting a fatha on the blank alif. So do from sawa.
سواء العاكف.
Yes, very good. You tried really hard, mashallah. I'm very impressed with you. Okay, jazakallah.
جزاك الله
Allah
خير.
Hafiz. Okay, Coach, you said we had some questions?
Yes, A5324 has a question.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Did you have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
How do we send our recordings to your website?
You would send it if you have WhatsApp, which I'm sure your parents would have it. You can log on to WhatsApp web, and that way everything on your phone is transferred to the laptop or the computer, and that is one easy way, I think, how I would send it. So if you tell your parents, are your parents close?
Yeah.
Okay, so they can hear me. So they can, if you log on to WhatsApp web on your computer, everything from your phone is transferred, and you can then, if you record your Tilawat al-Nazm on your phone, then that recording should go also to your laptop if you open it with WhatsApp web, and that way you can send it over.
Okay.
Okay, and if that doesn't work, or if for some reason I've told you something wrong, then please do email the address info@NQC, and they'll better direct you as to how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Was there another question?
I think A5303 also has a question.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Yes, you had a question?
Yes. You know, whenever I go to the NQC website,
Yes.
whenever I try to find a lesson or something, not for recap, for homework or something, it doesn't really work.
Are you trying to find previous lessons?
Yeah, the homework and stuff. It doesn't work.
What if have you tried going to YouTube?
I always attend every class, but then sometimes I get delayed. I'm asking like for the homework. Which else can I do?
Well, I haven't tried going on the website, NQC, but if I need to do my homework, like if I were to prepare for the class, I go onto YouTube and I listen. I can see all the previous classes, and they just take maybe a day to upload. So if you want to see a previous class, you go to YouTube, you type NQC classes, and then you'll have a list of all the previous classes, and they should be, I think, in day order. So you'll see one from 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and you can like that.
Yeah, but they were G2 and stuff like that.
There are G2 ones, but they should say which ones are G1 as well. You will find them there, because I look through or for my homework, I go to YouTube and I see where it says G1. Half of them are G1, half of them are G2.
Okay.
Do try it, and you can ask a question again. Hopefully it'll work, so you can see that. Okay.
Yes.
Jazakallah. Were there any more questions, or shall we move on?
There are a few more questions, but we can move on for now, and then we'll answer those later.
Okay, sure.
And
Right.
can I just request everyone to put their hands down? The screen is flooded with hands, and we will not choose you if you're putting your hand up. Jazakumullah.
Okay. Right, so that is the teaching part. So the first part of the class over. For now, we are going to go to the Quran recitation, and it's not this one. I'm going to go to this one. So what we'll be doing here is what we've been doing in previous lessons is everything you've learned, and mashallah, you've picked up so much. We're going to be applying it to this surah, Surah Kafirun of the Holy Quran. I'm going to read it out first, and then afterwards we'll take a student line by line, we'll read it, and we'll talk about what's going on, the elongations and everything else. So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. So for now, we're going to get a student and we're going to first read this Bismillah verse. So could I have a student for this, please, co-host?
Yes, I'm now putting on A5360.
Okay, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Okay, could you recite the Awwaz and Tasmiyah, please?
Okay, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, now very slowly and paying careful attention to all the rules. In fact, I was going to say recite Bismillah but as you said it in your ta'awwuz, I think we'll go on to the first one. Can you recite from here, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, up to just there, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا, but quite slowly and paying very particular attention to the rules you've learned.
Okay. قل يا قل يا قل يا
أيُّ
أيو قل لا أيو هل 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 يا في كافرون رون.
Good, mashallah. Okay. Can you tell me anything about this qaf? What do you know about it?
I know if there's a kasra on top of it, we make like ooh sound. You round your mouth.
Yes, you're right. So leave the bit about the gasra, but you got that right. That is one of the thick letters, and to pronounce it, we have to round our mouth. Okay, so it has a deep sound. So that was good. Well done. Qul. Tell me about this here. What's this squiggly line?
You need to pronounce it for 4 seconds.
Yes. Can you do that? Very nice. And what about this squiggly line or this symbol on top of the ya?
You need to duplicate it.
Correct. Well done. For how long?
For 2 seconds.
Good. So it's what's it called? The name?
The shadda.
Yes. Well done. And that's held for 2 seconds, like you said. Well done.
I have a question.
Yes.
In between, can we have like a little break where we can eat? Because usually when we do our Quran classes, it's when we eat.
Oh, okay. Maybe eat a little bit before to keep you awake, and then you can, if the Quran class starts, maybe you can save a bit for later.
Okay.
Yeah, but ideally, it would be good if you could try and finish it. Move your dinner time a little bit before, so you finish your dinner before the class, so you're nice and alert. Yeah. Okay. So tell me about this. What I'm interested in a lot is this blank alif, because we were looking at this a few minutes ago, weren't we?
Yes.
So, yes, go on.
You need to miss
Okay, hold on 1 second. Your voice just went distant. Have the mic close to you. Yes.
You ignore the lam in between and
You know
don't.
what? I'm going to pause you there because you're right. You're saying what you remembered, which is good, but you're forgetting. Let me just go back and I can show you actually. What you're forgetting is this first table here, which is after the blank alif. If you have a lam, what happens?
Oh, you keep it
Yeah.
in. Okay.
Sorry, I've gone to the wrong one. There we go. Yes. Okay. So now you tell me what happens now.
Usually if there's a different one like kaf in between the ka or blank alif, you miss kaf out. But if there's a lam in between, you pronounce the lam.
But what sign goes on the blank alif if there's a lam afterwards?
Dhamma.
Almost, it's a fatha.
Fatha.
Okay? If you have a blank alif and there's a lam afterwards, you will always put a fatha on the blank alif. So
Okay.
if you wanted to stop here, if you want to say ayyuha, and you want to pick up again from here, you will think, oh, what goes here? Right? I'm going to look ahead. It's a lam, so I know that the fatha goes on this alif. So
Okay.
that's going to be al. Okay?
Al.
You knew that, I'm sure. It just takes a bit of practice.
Okay.
What about on this kaf? What sign do we have?
A vertical fatha.
Very good. And how long is that prolonged for?
2 seconds.
Very good. Fi is normal. And
Yeah.
then roon here. Now something is happening with these two letters. It's an elongation on ru and the wow. What kind of elongation?
I think I don't really remember. I forgot.
Okay, that's fine. I'm glad you reminded it, but it gives me a chance to tell everyone else as well, so which is good. So it's a wow madda, and this is a normal wow, which my hand is on. But
Okay.
if before the normal wow, if you have a dhamma, that means
Yeah.
it's extended for 2 seconds. So if I put my hand over this wow, right, and pretend it's not there, so I'm just quickly doing that, it would be Qul ya ayyuhal kafi run, isn't it? Just run. But because the wow is there, it's made it long, isn't it? Run.
Yeah, it makes it longer. Now I remember.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
can tell you remember, mashallah. Of course, it just needs a bit of reminding, then you get it. And now tell me, if you stop here, you're not going to say na, are you?
No.
What do you say?
We say no.
Well, we just put a sakin on it, isn't it? Or sukoon on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you meant. Kafirun, isn't it?
Kafirun.
Yes, very good. So now could you say it again with all the rules that you remember?
Okay. Qul ya Qul ya Qul ya as us
Ayu.
ayu sorry
Okay.
ayyuha
Hal.
al kafirun run.
Yes, you remember. Good. Run. Okay, that's very good. It's difficult, isn't it? Because there's so much going on with almost every letter, but you had a very good attempt, mashallah, and I'm glad that you're picking things up along the way. So inshallah, we'll call you again to the mic soon.
Wait, excuse me.
Yes,
Can my sister have a go next to me as well?
yes, we will write her. We note when every person's ID comes on, and we're going to call her when it's been a while since she's come on. Yeah, so she will have her turn as well.
Should I say her ID? N6327.
Okay, we will make a note, and for sure, inshallah, when it's her turn, then she will come on.
Okay. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Co-host, would you like to have me answer a question, or shall we continue with the reading?
Let me just quickly check if we have any questions right now. A5334 has a question.
Okay.
And then we can have get the next person up after this.
Yes, sure. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
A5334? Oh, I think their mic must not be working or something. We'll come back to them.
Okay.
Do you want to do the next
Were there
one?
any more questions, or we can continue reading?
For now, I can't see any more questions.
Okay, so if we could, I said I could have a participant for the reading, please.
Yes, I'm going to now put on N6310.
All right, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Could you start with the tasmiyah, please?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Would you like to say A'udhu billah with me? A'udhu billah.
A'udhu billah
Himina shaitan.
minash shaitanir
Nirrajim.
rajim.
Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Rahman. Ar-Rahim. Okay. Would you like to read this yourself, or shall I do it with you?
With you.
Okay. La
La
a'budu
a'budu
ma
ma
ta'budun.
ta'budun.
Okay, very good. Can you tell me about this squiggly line on top of the lam? Do you know what it's called?
No.
It's called a madda, and we need to extend it or make it long for about 4 seconds. So 3 to 4 seconds. So you say la, and then we go ahead. A'budu, that's quite nice and simple. Ma, we elongate this for, do you know how many seconds?
No.
It's 2 seconds, and this is called alif madda because you have a alif, and before the alif, you have a fatha. So that makes the alif long for 2 seconds. Ma, da is normal, bu, do, and again here we have a rule. Look at this, do and the wow. This is a wow madda because you have a wow sakin, and before it you have an oo, and that oo pulls the sound forward for 2 seconds. Doon. And on the noon we have a fatha, but because we're going to stop, that fatha changes into a sukoon or a silent letter to make it ta'budun. Okay? Now would you like to read yourself, or shall I take you through again? Shall I do it with you again?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to be a little bit faster because we're familiar with a lot of the rules. La a'budu
La a'budu
ma
ma
ta'budun.
ta'budun.
Okay, Jazakallah for coming to the mic. Jazakallah for helping me. Allah Hafiz.
N6358 has a question.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. You had a question?
Yeah. Do you know when there's like a wolf and then you've got those lamb on top of them? And like in the Quran Majid, like when there's a lamb coming, you usually spot.
Sorry, I didn't hear your question. I think you have a bit of background noise.
And
Go
no
on.
no one's behind me.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's gone a bit quiet now. I don't know what that was. So, if you could try asking again.
Do you know? Because I'm in the ground. Yeah, it's when there's an alarm alone, you usually have to stop when there's not like a wolf when there's not a wolf there.
Oh, do you mean like this small alarm here?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. Like aren't you meant to like stop?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So what you can do is you can stop like this. La a'budu ma ta'budun, but you can also continue as well. So la means no in Arabic. That means no stopping. So ideally it should be la a'budu ma ta'buduna wa la. Yes, you see how I continued? Buduna wa la. I kept going through it. But if you want, you can stop. And you can continue as well.
Okay.
But because we're teaching right now and we need to learn in short verses, it's better for us to stop. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Jazakallah.
Exactly.
Right. Could I have co-host a participant for the reading?
Yes, I'm now going to put on A5343.
Okay, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, could you start with the awuz and tasmiyah, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Would you like to read from here all the way to the next stop sign?
ولا
Wala.
ولا
And from here?
أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
Because we're going to stop, we're going to just say bud. Yeah?
ما أعبد.
Good. And now you can talk me through it. So wa is normal, but what's happening here?
You have to do it more longer.
Good. And how long?
2 seconds.
A little bit more. So 3 to 4 seconds. Yeah? Because this is a medium length elongation. La, about that long. And over here, let's go through here. Un is normal. Dum is normal. And what's happening on the ain? What's this elongation here?
Inverted. Kasra.
It's a vertical fatha. Yes, yes, you had it. Vertical fatha. How long is that elongated for?
2.
2 seconds, yes? Abi, do. What's happening here with these two letters?
There's a vowel, so you have to pronounce it like 3 seconds.
Yes, it's a waw madda and it's elongated 2 seconds because you're looking before it. And what sign is before it?
This one.
It's a dhamma before it, so it's making it duna. And what is this wavy line on the ma?
You have to pronounce it for 4 to 1 second. 3 to 4 seconds.
Good. 3 to 4 seconds, making it ma, and bud. I'm going to say bud as opposed to budu because I'm choosing to stop. So what happens when I stop? What sign comes off?
The ma.
The dhamma here, right? I'm not going to say budu. Instead, I'm going to put a sukoon on this dal. Bud. Yeah? So read it again, bearing in mind all the rules we just gone over.
ولا أنتم آبدون
Duna.
دون ما أعبد.
Very good. There's also a jerking sound here. You remember the rule of kalkala?
Yes.
Yeah? Kalkala is here. And there are 5 letters of kalkala. Qaf, Ta, Ba, Jim, and Dal. And in this one we just did, we have a Dal. And Dal with a dam on it, a do, that's not actually a kalkala letter. But because we're choosing to stop, we're going to put a sukoon on the Dal. And Dal with a sukoon is a kalkala letter, like we see here, Dal with a sukoon. And kalkala just means a jerking sound. So this would be read lam yalid as opposed to lam yalid. It needs to be jerked. Lam yalid. Are you able to read these letters for me?
Yes.
With a jerking sound? Have a go.
Zuk.
Good.
To hit.
Yeah. With a jerking sound to hit.
To hit.
This one.
Cub. Jub.
Yes. For hob. Very good. This one.
Ruj.
Good. Ruj. Very good.
Ruj.
What's this one?
Lam yalid.
I like that jerking sound the best. This one was very nice. Lam yalid. And now we're going to go back to this. And it's ma a'bud. Have a go.
Ma a'bud.
Very good. That's a very nice jerking sound there. Okay, Jazakallah for helping me.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Okay, are there any more questions before we proceed?
We have A5341.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Did you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, how do you basically attend these classes, and how did you make the class?
How did we make the class?
Yeah.
Lots of prayers and lots of effort. And the head teacher, he chose different teachers, and he told us lots of children need to learn to read. And so he made a book, and then he took all these pages from his book. These are pages from the book that you can buy. This page is from the Quran. And then the teachers from the book, they decide what to teach students every day. And by the end of the course, we aim to get you all reading confidently. So that's how we make up a class. Okay? Okay, Jazakallah. Okay. Could we have a student for reading, please, co-host?
Yes, I'm now going to put on A5344.
All right, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Can you start with the awud tasmiyah, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Can you read this, please?
ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم.
Very good. Now talk me through what's happening. Y is normal. La is letter with madda, so how long is that extended for?
3 to 5 seconds.
Yes, 3 to 4 or 3 to 5, I think, yes. So that's extended. And this one, I noticed, how do you read it?
أنا
Ana. Yes, you're right. But it says ana, doesn't it?
Yes.
But you're reading it correctly, because actually whenever we see this in the Holy Quran, which is, it looks like ana, we always read it like ana. I'm just going to quickly show you. Apologies for me scrolling up and down. I'm going to find the right place. Okay, so look at this table here. In this table, you have a way of writing, and in the second one is the way of reading it, okay? And here we have what I was just describing to you, ana, okay? Just like in Surah Kafirun. But in reading it, we say ana. So it's not going to be ana, it's ana. And it's something you just have to know. And this occurs 41 times in the Holy Quran. It's going to be written 41 times. And each of these 41 times, you're not going to read it as ana. It's always going to be ana. So that was very impressive, mashallah. I have to say that you knew that already. Well done. So here it is again. It's not ana. As you rightly said, it's ana. Okay? What about this one here? How long are you extending that for?
2 seconds.
Very good. This is normal. B. Tell me what's happening here with these two letters.
The dal is joining to the meme.
Good. And what kind of meme is it? It has something on it.
A
What's
fatah.
this? Yes, the fatah. And what's below the
A
fatah?
shadda.
Good. So what does that mean? Meme with a shadda. What do you have to do?
I forgot.
It's a double letter, and you have to hold it for 2 seconds, and there's a hunna sound, which is a nasal sound. I think you do know it, but sometimes we forget it, or it's difficult when you explain it. But you recited it well. Abidumma. So not only are we holding it because of the shadda, we are elongating it for 2 seconds as well. Okay, this is normal R. What's happening here? But what letter has been missed out?
The dal.
Yes, you're right. So if we have a letter with a sukoon, because it's not making any noise, it's not important. And the shadda on the ta is so powerful, the fatha from here goes straight over the dal and straight to the shadda, and the silent dal becomes ignored. So it's abattum. There's no sign of this dal at all. Okay, so now if you could read it again, remembering all the rules we just covered.
Wala ana bidumma abattum.
Okay, very good. Jazakallah, Jazakallah. We'll call you again to the mic soon. Jazakallah for helping me. Allah Hafiz. Okay, I think we can squeeze in one more participant before the end of the lesson. So could I have one more, please, co-host?
Yes, I'm going to now put on N6312.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, N6312. Assalamu alaikum.
Documentary for second nick on the iPad tablet.
Assalamu alaikum. Do we have another participant? What do you think?
Yes, I'll put on N6324.
Okay, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum, N6324.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Now, could you recite the awwaz and tasmiyah, please?
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Jazakallah. Would you like to read this line yourself? Or shall I help you? Sorry?
Myself.
Okay, have a go.
Wala antum abiduna ma abud.
Very good. Now, we're going to break it down. Wa is normal. La, tell me about la.
to make it long.
Yes, 3 to 4 seconds. Good. Antum. What does the have on it? This one. What sign does it have on it? It's a vertical fatha. Yeah? So how long is that extended for?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. Good. Abi duna. Tell me about this do here.
It's also 2 seconds.
Very good. It's called waw madda because before the waw with the sukoon, there's a dhamma, and that's prolonged for 2 seconds, as you rightly said. Duna ma. How long is this held for?
5 seconds.
Yeah, about 4 seconds. Good. A'bud. And what's happened here? Why am I not saying budu?
Because you have to wrap it.
I have to what? Sorry.
You have to pretend that there's a second.
Yes, you're right. So because I'm stopping, I've taken off the dhamma, and as you rightly said, I'm going to put a sukoon on it. And what else? Do you remember this? Kalkala?
It has to be jerked.
Yes, it does have to be jerked a little bit. A'bud. Very good. Okay. Okay, Jazakallah for your participation. If you could just read it one more time.
فلا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
Beautiful. Okay, Jazakallah. Allah Hafiz for now.
لكن
And I'm just going to finish off the final verse because there's not enough time to get a participant. Lakum dinukum waliyadin. Okay, now with that, we will go to our homework. Yes, homework. So today's homework, you will need to look at the miniature noon and remember what comes after on the alif. So the miniature noon was called noon kutni, and you need to remember what comes after on the blank alif. Okay? If you have Hafiz Sah's book, it's on page 93, or you can look on the YouTube video tomorrow, which should be uploaded tomorrow, and you can see this lesson again. Right. Could I have a participant for the final dua, please, co-host?
Yes, I'm now going to put on N6327.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Could you do the awwaz and tasmiyah, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
And recite, please.
Oh, wait, I forgot the starting with this.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, but
Shall I help you?
just by the start.
Okay, sure.
Allahumma arhamni bil Qur'anu azim waj'alhu li imaman wa nuran wa hudan wa rahmah.
That was lovely, mashallah. And the translation?
Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance and the mercy.
Ameen. Okay, that was a lovely prayer. Jazakallah.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Before I go, very quickly, if you want to hear any very nice recitals of how they do it properly with all the rules, you go on to this web address here, nqc.org.uk/hifz learning recitals, and you can listen to all the recitals and you know how to do them properly. Okay. With that, I will conclude the meeting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.